Hey guys, ETJ Writes here. So I thought I would talk to you and give you a little bit of an update on where I am with my novel writing currently. As you know, I've written 2 novels, Tedenbarr of Lath and Thorunn, and I'm really excited for my next few novels that are coming up. I have one novel that I'm working on actively, and then some others that are kind of like in different stages of planning. My novel that I'm working on right now, I don't have a set title for it. I'm just calling it Avalon for right now. That's the planet, the realm where my characters are going to live. They go kind of bounce back and forth between there and Earth. It's a little bit of a sci-fi, a little bit of a fantasy, and all romance. Well, I say all romance, but I haven't actually written a romance before. This is really fun to challenge myself to see what's going to happen, because I don't want the romance to be overtaken to the novel to the point where you're annoyed by it, but I really want to weave it in a way that feels really organic to the story, because I love adventure stories where these two characters kind of get closer and closer and closer together, and you're rooting for them by the end. You didn't start out with it being a romance, but by the end they've worked some of those elements in there. So I want it to be a little bit closer to that. My main character, she's really fun. She has a little bit of an anxiety issue, and it wasn't something that I planned on giving to her at all in any of my planning, but when I started writing, it just kind of jumped into her, I guess. And I think it came a little bit from some things that when I started writing the novel, I was going through a little bit at the time. I take what I have in my life around me and I just plop it into my books. And that's, something about being a writer. We just kind of, our books are our therapy, right? So it's been really interesting to write, because there's a million different directions you can go with that. The character can be physically debilitated, and that causes issues for them. They can be emotionally debilitated, and that causes problems for them. They can be working to overcome that, and that can lead to all sorts of triumphs in their life. So it's been really interesting to go through that and see how this really affects the character in a way that I haven't really explored with my other characters. So I'm really hoping to do that justice. I've really had a lot of fun writing this book, but I'm thinking that once I'm finished my first draft, I'm going to shelve it and let it be for like a year, 6 months or so. Because while I really love the world and I love the characters, there's just something about it that isn't quite clicking with me. And so I know if I let it sit for a while after I'm done the first draft, I'll be able to come back at it with fresh eyes and fix anything that's an obvious issue. And then of course you have beta writers and critique partners and things like that. But excited to getting to that point where I let it sit and then I look at it again. Then on top of that, I have some other works. I have prequel series to Tedenbarr of Lath. I have this one character in Tedenbarr of Lath called Lightfingers, and he used to be known as Emiri of Cairo, and so this is about him when he was younger and his little brother and their best friend and his life. It's planned to be kind of like a Indiana Jones style series where they have to solve puzzles and find hidden treasure. It's kind of set in a world that's sort of North Africa-ish, but not quite, because it's a fantasy world, but kind of like elements from that. So I'm excited to see how that works. And then I have an alternate universe series of my first novel. So one of the characters, their parents, something different happens with them, and it creates a fork in the road that splits the universe. So while some events may be the same, there are other things that are markedly different, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that all plays out, because I have this first novel that I'm writing right now, but I'm super excited to get to the other novels, and I don't know if I'll wait a year after finishing those first drafts to get back to those. We'll have to see. But overall, that's my plans with my novels, and I'm writing a little bit every so often. It's been kind of taking a backseat. I've been busy with music stuff over the summer, but now that we're getting into the holidays, a little more time. I do not do NaNoWriMo because I'm super busy in November, and it's the type of thing, if I wrote every day, it would really stress me out. So I don't do that. I purposefully don't do that, but I still try to get a good couple hundred to couple thousand words in, and I'm really happy with the progress of my story. I'm about chapter 4 right now. Hopefully I'll do a writing vlog sometime soon, and maybe I'll get another writing update vlog by the time Christmas comes around. We'll see. Well, that's what I'm doing right now, and follow along Twitter, Tumblr if you want to get some updates. More on Tumblr than Twitter because Tumblr is better for long form writing, and you'll see more of my little snippets and things as I work through this first draft. But until next time, ETJ out.